Anarchy. Obstructionist politicians.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
A media motivated by extreme ideology.
That was a racist lie told to appeal to racists.
Government officials using propaganda and actually encouraging protests, which they know for a fact have been turning into violence in our streets.
And it has been people, individuals, who have banded together. They've marched, they've bled. Yes, some of them have died.
These conditions were common in every radical Islamic country I spent time in over my 12-year career. And I'm disgusted that we as Americans are accepting to live with these conditions today. Not because of ISIS, but because of a bunch of entitled crybabies who can't get over the fact that the American people elected Donald Trump.
You're a anti-American. I'm an anti-American.
It's an organized anarchy that's becoming unmanageable. Let's start with the so-called resistance. I think people have been watching too much Star Wars and Hunger Games. What are you resisting? The democratic process? The fact that our military is finally allowed to destroy ISIS? These protesters in the streets wear black clothes and masks, deface property, harass our police, and then have the audacity to cry fascism. Do you even know what fascism is? Try asking someone from our not-too-distant history. The ones who were held up in prison camps, stormed beaches, and saw unimaginable horrors to defeat fascism. They're a huge part of the reason that you have the freedom to march in the streets. Instead of smashing windows and degrading the value of that freedom, try showing some respect by thanking a veteran or someone that's helped lay the foundation of this amazing country that we have the opportunity to live in. Then there are the millionaire celebrities giving speeches about how oppressed women are under our president.
The current political administration benefits from taking the power away from us. Don't give up your power.
Progressivism is alive and well, and we're it.
If you want to know what true oppression is, I suggest you open your eyes to the ideology that lurks around the globe that wants nothing more than for you to perish. Muslim-majority countries where by law, women can't even go to school or drive. Where a woman can be killed if she's raped. They call it honor killing. Try marching in with your hats over there. They'll stone you to death for it. In the midst of a growing anarchy, obstructionist politicians are now putting American security at risk in exchange for a cheering crowd and a photo op. Like you, Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, when our president tried to implement a temporary travel ban for non-Americans from Muslim-majority countries, the places where honor killings are law and terrorists are trained. When that happened, you ran to the airports to lead protests because of a few people entering into our country were held up for a couple hours.
This executive order was mean-spirited, un-American.
Cut the crap. We're at war with a growing evil culture that wants you dead. And then there's the media.
Anti-Semites and racists and misogynists who support Trump.
The First Amendment gives us the right to publish this return.
The NRA is basically a front for gun makers.
We don't need white people leading the Democratic Party right now.
We are the press who's under attack. We are under attack by this administration.
No, you're finally being held accountable for spewing false information. If you want to know what it's like to be under attack, go to Syria, Iran, or another Islamic-controlled country. You don't get to have an opinion in places like that. What we're seeing in America is an organized anarchy, led by people who hate our president and hate those who support him. Even Obama himself is fanning the flames of the opposition, stating that he's heartened by these anarchist protesters, the ones who spit on law enforcement, burn American flags, and use violence. And I'd like to end on one last note. In my opinion, the burning of the American flag is the most disrespectful action that you can take. Countless men and women have bled and died for the freedom that our flag stands for. I have proudly worn that flag on my sleeve overseas, not because I always agree with our politicians, but because of generations of my fellow Americans that have gone before me that made the ultimate sacrifice to protect the freedoms that many of us take for granted. It comes down to honor and respect. Just because you think you have the right to desecrate the flag doesn't make it right. There is no honor or respect in that, and I, for one, will not tolerate it.